Hello my friends, welcome back to another round of micromotor experiments. I admit I announced this one a little bit late, just a few hours ago, so not sure how many of you will turn up today. I put another laptop right under the camera here, so when I look at the chat room it looks like I'm looking. I hear myself, that's not good. Can I switch that off? Hey Jesse, you're the first and only so far. Welcome back. Let's see, I put the stream status on a little window here as well, so it says it's good. Started at 11:28. And as usual, you're looking through one of my FPV cameras. It's one of those 120-degree lens, and I think that MC900 sensor. It's quite light sensitive, so that's why I closed again the curtains in the back, otherwise that would just completely overpower these little cameras. Very light sensitive, so it's actually quite dark in here, but the camera seems to deal with that pretty well. I checked out the video before and it looks like it's bright here. Well, there's a couple of video lights, but yeah, it's a little bit like in a cave in here, but the camera seems to pick it up quite nicely. Pilsner Popper asks what chat to use. Well, let's just use the YouTube chat. I've seen some talks about someone else wants to put up a different chat, like a Discord chat, but yeah, I haven't looked into that yet. So if that's running already, someone post the link, please. So, Jesse says US participants are getting drunk and watching football. Oh yeah, I heard about that. But isn't that more about commercials than about footballs? Yeah, I'm not really getting that. So, video and audio sounds good. Yeah, please just use the YouTube chat for now. If we find a better chat solution down the track, something that's consistent even outside of these live broadcasts, I think that would be a cool solution. Discordapp.com channel 14 gazillion something. Alright, I'll check this out later. I think a chat system in general is a good idea. So, Rich is asking if I'm ever going to carry FPV equipment on my site. So that brings me right to my first topic, because I got a few more of these little cameras. I sold a few of them on the last race event on last week, Tuesday in Sydney. And they worked quite well. Some people suspected they would actually be transmitting more than 25 milliwatt because the signal was so good out of them. And the big change is that the company who makes them has now put voltage regulators into, well, at first one of them for me. So I asked them, because I've taken it apart and there was a little bit of space in there. So you can very easily just crack out the back of these things, and then the whole camera and PCB assembly slides out the back. So there's 3 layers of circuit boards in there. One is for the camera. So usually the cameras have the circuit board right in the back, but this one has it at an angle. So one layer is the camera PCB, Then on the other side, there's the video transmitter PCB, and in the middle there's just a half-sized board with the microphone and yeah, some other audio components. So there's half a PCB space left, and I asked them if they can put a voltage regulator slash filter in there, and voila, they actually did. So it's not this one, but it looks exactly the same. I've already installed this on a quad, what I'm going to show you a little bit later on. Nothing missed yet, Mr. Pnew. So yeah, I'm planning to sell these cameras. They are completely ready to fly, just give them power. So I usually do that by soldering them just at the bottom of the flight controller. So when you have your power leads coming in here, just turn it around, check for the, most power leads on flight controllers are soldered through. Check where the power comes through at the bottom, and just solder the antenna to the video transmitter camera combo to it. That's it. So you can pretty much transform every single cell LiPo quad or other vehicle into an FPV vessel just by putting this thing on there. That's how the VA1100 once was designed. So they moved to the 2500 and actually increased the voltage what you require to run the thing. So I don't think the Spectrum VA2500 is, especially for the price, a really good option to fly on a micro FPV quad. Next to the quality issues what the camera has. This one fixes it. Had a much better camera and sensor. And what I really like about them, although most others tout this as a disadvantage, it has a 32-channel dip switch channel selector. Now that's a little bit inconvenient if you don't know where to flick the switches, but if you know where they should go, it takes 2 seconds to reliably set one of 32. It doesn't have 40, so it doesn't transmit on race band, but it takes 2 seconds to reliably set the frequency one out of 32 channels that you want to set, as opposed to the button solution where you have to press the button up to 31 times to get to your desired frequency, and while you're doing this, stomping on everyone else transmitting around you. So these ones you can put it to the desired channel before you switch it on, and then you can switch it on and be pretty sure that it is on that channel and stays on that channel. So yeah, a little bit less convenient, but I think this is a much better solution than all the button press versions, which by the way you can now also get at Hobby King. Hobby King released a, let's call it, clone of the Spectrum SPM VA 2500 for I think $40. So it looks pretty much the same. If you look into the lens of the Hobby King cam looks almost the same as the Spectrum cam, and there's also very little electronics in there. So it weighs 4.5 grams like the Spectrum. So that's why I expect the components in there not to be much better than the Spectrum ones. So the only real disadvantage I see of those cameras over the Spectrums is the weight. They weigh almost double. So this is around 10 grams. And yeah, the Spectrum ones are around half the weight. So yeah, 9.7. Almost 10 grams. But yeah, I have much better results with these things. So once I got more of them, you know, it's Chinese New Year, so there's nothing new coming out of China for what it feels a whole year. But when Chinese New Year is over, and then we wait another month or so, I hope I'm able to order more of them. So yeah, that's to answer the first question. At some stage, I'm really looking forward to carry FPV gear to come closer to the complete micro FPV quad. Yeah, so for the convenience of using the chat and the camera at the same time, I've put a laptop right underneath the camera so I can look at the chat, and it looks like I'm looking at you. Almost, so just a little bit down here. So Discord app, we'll check that out later. So Pilsner Popper says these look similar to the ones that B2 Unit makes. Yeah, so B2 Unit, Rob, is from microfpv.eu. He actually got me onto those. So, and yeah, I think we'll team up to bring them together to our fellow micro FPV friends. He has some more suggestions how to further increase the interference resistance. Although I think that voltage regulator with the manufacturer put in there works very nicely, much better than my ready-made RC step-up regulators. So I'm not even sure if further shielding is required. The signal looked really good to me, but yep, B2 Unit microfpv.eu. For those of you who are in the EU, I will probably ship those cameras within Australia and the States, and Rob might, if our plan works as planned, we'll ship them in Europe. So yeah, we'll figure this out after Chinese New Year has worn off. Jesse likes it, so yeah, I think it's a really good setup. You know, I've built many more custom FPV setups, and the good ones all clocked in at around 10 gram. You can make them lighter. You can use a lighter camera module, so that's number one, where you can save some weight. These camera modules weigh around 3.5 gram. You know, that's almost as much as the complete Spectrum FPV setup. If you make that smaller, I found you always sacrifice video quality big time. If you use a smaller sensor and a smaller lens, it just doesn't really work. So I'd rather have it a little bit heavier and can see properly. And the next thing where you can save some weight is the antenna. So these antennas weigh around 2 to 3 gram, but they're very solid. So big kind of brass, copper, I don't know exactly what it is, but fat metal barrel in the middle and solid wires, which even if it breaks, it's relatively easy to solder back to, but they hardly break. So that's the 5 gram. You pay extra 5 gram for more rigidity, or no, 2.5 gram, another 2.5 gram for better quality. So yeah, really looking forward to that. When that's done, the only thing what's still missing to make complete kits is flight controllers. I have a few ideas around custom flight controllers, but they're all not very good. So yeah, I'll talk about the Alien a little bit later. I think there's some good news on the way as well. Adam got pizza. Alan has entered the room. Did you mean Adam? Blop, blop, blop. Oh, Adam lost his wrench. Oh, really? Let's give him a wrench. Here you go. Another wrench for you, Adam. So, MM Mastercross Alien Flight new site. Yeah, so you can go to github.com/alienflight, and there's some new revelations, or maybe old revelations on a new place, but it leaves hope that the project will go on and future developments have the hands-on and spiritual support from Lance, which I think is important. So, Lance, if you're watching, I'm glad you're back on track. I gave Adam a wrench. You know, he dropped it again. Let's try again. So, hello, not again. No, Harrow that is. So, yeah, so far to the camera. I have some other new cool parts. So, I think I showed you one of those a while ago. This is the alien brain adapter, what I made for the Parrot rolling spider frame. It fits quite a few other flight controllers as well, but not those of the size of the classic alien. That's a little bit too wide. So I really like the rolling spider frames, and I wanted to fly them with a proper transmitter. So I wanted to put an Alienware flight controller in there, but it didn't fit. So I used a micro MWC that fits in there nicely, and I made a video about it. And Lance didn't like it at all, so he made a smaller version, the classic narrow. So I think that was the idea father of the narrow alien, because Lance wanted me to fit that into the Parrot. So I was selling these adapters for quite some time on my website, printed them myself, but yeah, I was selling quite a few of them, so that's why I thought it's too much printing. Let's have someone else do the printing. So again, my friends at 3dprint-au.com did an awesome job. Sent me a whole box of these nylon laser sintered printed alien brain adapters. Let's call them Parrot brain adapters. Yeah, you can put other flight controllers in there, but it's really made for the Alienware. It has little grooves in here where the solar points go in, so the rest sits flat and you don't have to file off too much of the bottom of the flight controller in order to get a flush fit on that. So yeah, got a lot of those in there. That's yeah, a much better material than I could print myself. It's smooth, flexible, and very strong. And also it allows to, the print process allows to print with overhang and with hollow spaces, which you couldn't do, or you can't do on a additive printer like your normal filament spitting printer. It always needs to print support, and then it's a lot of work to get the support out of there. So yeah, I'm very happy with the results coming out of 3dprintau.com. As they say on their website, comes in all colors you like, as long as you like white, and it's as tough as a $2 steak. So yeah, I also printed the brick mounts out of that stuff. Yeah, very nice material. So that means I will less often run out of these parts, and I can make a lot more of them now. So I will probably stock them in the next couple of weeks, month in the other locations as well. Not again is Big Ash. Welcome. I'm glad you don't have to work or found a computer with no restriction on in your workplace. Your head is cropped off. Yeah, I'm sorry. Need to sit like this. Yeah. I'll put the camera higher. So yeah, I can try to sit like this. You can see my head. I'm sorry, but my head's also not that important. It's more the stuff what I show here, and mainly it's it's an audio podcast with attached chat. So Big Ash, it's going to organize us lots of these little thermostats. I think it's actually the one I had on the table is, oh no, it's not on the laptop, it's here. So yeah, he gave me a few on the Tuesday's race meeting. They come with this nice rubber protection thing. So, and they are less than 2 centimeters high if I put them in an envelope. So I think we can just ship them globally in envelopes. And yeah, they're not expensive. So I think we'll sell them for $5 or so. You can also get them on eBay for similar price. Some sell them up to $10. But yeah, I think $5 is a fair deal. Everyone should have one of them. I think this thing is almost as important to me for building microquartz as a soldering iron or a crimper. Without this thing, yeah, I'd be cursing a lot more. It's just one of the best tools to plug little plugs in or pull little wires through or attach little parts at the right spot without disassembling the whole thing. Very, very useful. They're the single use ones. That's why they cost around a tenth of the proper surgery instruments. I don't really see why we should have any better quality. They are very, very precise, and I didn't break one yet. The only thing what sometimes happens is that the tension of this locking mechanism gets a little bit loose, but then you can just take it apart, bend it a bit in that direction, and then it snaps back together nicely, so you can use it to hold stuff, pinch wires. I think it's used to close blood vessels when you're operating at the open heart. But I'm not sure. I'm just using them to build microquartz. Corporate advertising? Who's advertising? Yeah, my brain doesn't fit in the stream, that's right. That's a lot better, so I'm trying to slouch like that. Or your dentist. Yeah, you can ask your dentist, although I haven't seen one of those at the dentist, I believe. But I'm sure they have other interesting instruments that I would have use for. So I'd really like to have a couple of these small drills and other rotary tools, what they have. And of course one of these cool chairs to fly FPV from. Yeah, I'm sorry. Gotta change off my overlay here. Thank you, Adam. Microsurgery, that's right, Ernesto. Someone has to shout me a decent steak. So just to clarify that, I'm not buying $2 steaks. You can get very, very good steaks in Australia. Unfortunately, they're also very expensive. But if you ever come to the lovely Central Coast, there's an awesome butcher in Avoca Beach, like diagonal across the post office. Well, there's not many places, so you can't miss that if you're in Avoca Beach. Makes the best The best fillet and the best dry-aged rump steak you have ever seen. From Happy Cows in, I think, Victoria. So it's like a Mexican in a lowrider car. I don't know how exactly that works, but I can't imagine. So let's move on. I have more stuff, something, for a change, what I already put up on the website. After quite some time of sitting in a drawer, I finally got to take a picture of the Dragonfly. Just checking out that I'm getting it properly in the camera. It's not so easy. Requires some weird hand-eye coordination. So yeah, the Dragonfly, another sweet creation of our friend David Woods. So I have these for quite some time. I had a few, I think almost a year ago, and I was flying them FPV and I liked it. I gave away a few, I ordered some more, and now I finally got the act together and put them on the web shop. So you can go to micromotorwarehouse.com/collections/frames or just search for Dragon, and yeah, you'll find those. I think they'll make a very nice FPV quad because of these bumpers. So you can fly through very narrow places and literally crap around along the wall without falling from the sky. Because usually, if you hit a wall, the outer propellers get slowed down, which in turn makes the quad tilt towards the wall, crash fully into the wall, and then drop down. But yeah, this way you can just bump it and creep your way along. Also, the antenna makes, the tail makes a quite good antenna protector. So on my FPV Dragonfly, it's a 400 milliwatt transmitter, and the antenna is just strapped to the tail. So in no orientation the antenna hits the ground. The propellers hit if it hits upside down, but since I've drilled all the props and pushed them down on the motors, it doesn't create much of a problem either. So you can check out a video on the product page for the frame where I fly this thing around the house here, and my son tries to knock it down with a frisbee. So yeah, you can have those if you want. They're not many, but yeah, if they get sold, I get more. So yes, the wings act as prop guards, and yeah, girlfriends tend to like it. This didn't help to convince my wife of flying a quad. I think she didn't even make any even trying to be positive comment about these frames, but yeah, I know Shane's wife Vanessa likes it, and yeah, even if you're a hardcore male macho, you can still defend that because it has prop guards, and it'll maybe score you a female flight companion, maybe. Happy until you slit their throats. So yeah, you can also put LEDs in there. I'm not sure if it's for LEDs, but there's holes at the end of the front wings, and there's a hole in the tail. So what the original idea of that is, you can put little screws, ideally nylon or plastic screws in there, have little standoffs as a landing gear. And if you go to picnicquads.com and check out the frame there, he even built an inverted one because the standoffs are so far away, they're actually out of the prop's reach, and you can build an inverted Dragonfly if you want. So David missed the Alien Week giveaway 5 minutes ago. Damn, David, you just that little bit too late. Everyone got Alien Weeks here. Sorry, they're all gone. This is the last one. I keep that one. No, no Alien Weeks. Just pulling a leg. But yeah, soon I hope there will be more Alien Weeks, but I don't know more than most of you. I actually think most of you know more than I do. What else do I have? More exciting, interesting parts. Oh yeah, a project what I was planning for quite some time, and then it took me a whole long time to find the right parts, and it took even longer for the parts to arrive. But I finally found a usable gear assembly for 8.5mm motors. So unfortunately, not everything is pink and rosy, but yeah, the good news is they work pretty well and they have good props to go along with them. So one of the advantages, it is of plastic. I have quite a few other of these gear assemblies which are made out of carbon and aluminium. That's heavy, expensive, and breaks quickly, and it has little screws. This here, and you need to assemble them in most cases. This one here comes like this, bag of four for, I don't remember how much, but less than $10 for four, and some of the others cost more than $10 a piece. Now, to the downsides, it has a, well, actually, no, when I'm looking at it, it's actually not that bad. I thought it would be a disadvantage of having a smaller distance between the shafts, which means you can only use a 9-tooth pinion. But if you compare the gears with some of the, for example, the Dromeda Ominous or the Alias or the 190QX, also the spur gear is smaller. That means the gear ratio is probably in the ballpark of an Alias or a 180QX. I have to look it up what model they're exactly from, but I bought them from Banggood and they fit. That's why I bought them. They fit the Syma X5. Hang on, I'll dig out the link, post it in the chat. It's quite ambitious. It's not really, not Banggood, GearBest. I bought them from GearBest. They are for the FY326. So go to GearBest and search for FY326. Come on, webpage blocked by an extension. FY, what did I say? 326. FY326. Didn't even check what quadcopter that is. Maybe it's a usable one. I should rather buy that than the X5. Oh, crap, the script broker doesn't like GearBest at all. Let's unlock a couple of scripts and see if it works then. Oh, subscribe and get a $50 coupon. Man, I hate these web pages where it's blinking and flickering and you forget what you actually wanted with all that spam. So, yeah, so there's the FY. I just post the whole link into the chat. Where is the chat gone? Here. No, not here. Different computer. YouTube. View on watch page. Sorry, I can't copy and paste between computers. Say something here. So go to gearbest.com/FY326 --gear. And you see that actually pretty nice looking black version, the dark edition of the Syma, looks like it. The top selling Q7 360-degree flip fly UFO black costs $29.21, and apparently it runs 8.5mm motors. But yeah, I didn't buy the whole thing. I just bought these and I just looked up the price. It's $1.47 for 4 of them, free shipping. I don't know how they do this. Even if I could fit them in a envelope, I couldn't ship them at $1.47. And that's $1.47 for 4 of them plus shipping. And that contains the complete gear assembly, including these hex shaft things, what you can push the prop on. I think, that's a much better design prop attachment than what you see, for example, on the Ominous and the 180QX and others, where you push the prop and then you have to feed like a set screw through the side of it, because that means it's always a very small screw and it's very hard to get in there. Yeah, it's just no fun. And they usually have a little bit of the shaft sticking out at the top as well, which makes the shaft vulnerable. This design is much better. You screw the screw in from the top in line with the axle, and yeah, that's just a much better bond, much easier to get in and out of because the screw is much bigger. So Ernesto recommends a different ad blocker, ad guard. Yeah, I'm actually looking into changing what I have here. Just got too much of a pain. I'm using, what is it? Script Safe, and it blocks per default all the scripts on all websites, and worked good for a couple years. On the sites where I really want stuff to happen, then I click a couple of scripts to allow them. But yeah, it's just getting overboard. There's some pages where you're allowing 2 or 3 subdomains to run scripts, and they download a whole host of others, and you spend like 10 minutes clicking and clicking before you can use the site. So yeah, I do need another solution, which there's, I think, uBlock Origin. I'll have a look at that. And then Ernesto suggested AdGuard. Oh yeah, I actually said ad blocker, right? Yeah, I'm using AdBlock in addition. Alien Flight, not Alien We. Yeah, depends on what exactly you're talking about. This one here, It's clearly an alien we. That is China for me. What do you mean, Adam? C. James was dremeling the 8mm, or no, the 7mm mounts out to fit 8mm motors. Yeah, welcome to the club. I tried that as well. There's not much material. I mean, you can get it working, but yeah, it's just not nice. It either doesn't fit or it's too loose. So yeah, these ones are nice, and they also come with what looks like a 3mm take up for arms. So let's see. Yeah, 3mm square with a little screw, tap screw hole on the side. But yeah, you probably don't even need that, because if they sit tight, it's actually better to have them pop off instead of rip things apart. So yeah, you can buy like a midsection from for example, the 180QX midsection, or Recon Heli or Micro Heli makes some as well, which take up 3mm square tubes, and then get some square tubes. Is that a thing? Square rods. Or can a tube be square? I don't know. But yeah, square carbon fiber 3x3mm rods attached to these centerpieces, and they will work with these here as well, which could allow to shed some more weight of this thing, although it feels pretty light. So it's more than my scale does, which only does 100 gram. But I think I can take the battery out and see if it registers then, and do the battery separately. Yeah, 73 gram. Does it touch it? Oh, 73 gram. What? No, it says 85 now. So I think it was touching somewhere. 85 gram without battery, and I'm using the 600 milliamp MyLipos, which they make for the Syma, for another 15 grams. So that's pretty much 100 gram all up, which is a little bit lighter than the Ominous and the yeah. So the Ominous is usually, and the 230 SI, pretty much same weight as the Latrax Alias, and a little bit heavier than a 180QX. So yeah, by replacing the plastic shell, you can make it a little bit lighter and use these $1.47 motor mounts to run it with 8mm motors. I've put an 18V flight controller in there, so you can see that. Here we go, of the old ones. But yeah, it's not really good yet, because I just stuck it onto these two plastic bridges there. There's not much space in there to put it somewhere else, but I think I'm gonna find a different solution for that. It flies pretty good. It's yeah, pretty much like an Alias, just cheaper. Similar construction here, a little bit smaller, very robust. And yeah, many people ask me about motor upgrades for the Syma X5, and I gotta say, they have some very good 7mm motors in there. I failed to make something that's faster and still fits in the mounts, but yeah, with 820-17 motors, you definitely add some extra punch to this thing. I think it also needs some more battery power. So these batteries, 600 milliamp 15C, I think they're not maxing that motor combo out yet, but it flies already pretty good. So since these just fit into the stock tray, I might actually fly this thing a little bit like that before I probably give it away. Yeah, it's just not It's not a direct drive quad, so it's not as fast, not as responsive, but flies nice, it's robust. I think it's a very good, cheap trainer quad. So I ordered a whole bunch more of them, kind of an impulse buy. But yeah, let's see what we do with them. Mr. Pnew says digital echo. Can someone else hear some weird side noise, echo? Let me check if I have any other audio sources enabled. Not just the one. Just the one. So, I don't know. Let me know if it still happens. The gears, yes, Adam, the gears are of course from China. I think if China wouldn't exist, it would be pretty empty in here. I don't know if I have anything which is not directly or indirectly from China. China produces the world. Ernesto has no echo. David Mills meant his previous comment showed up. Oh yeah, it's okay. I get that. So the chat room seems to have some echo. That's weird. Turn around. So yeah, that much to the X5. I have a whole box of these parts, but yeah, I have a little bit of a problem shipping them because they don't fit in a standard envelope that needs to be, including the padding, less than 2 centimeters thick. Otherwise, the post office doesn't accept them, and they're already like 3 centimeters. No, 23. But yeah, I can't fit them into an envelope. So just shipping them costs me more than buying them at GearBest. But the disadvantage of that is it takes a couple of weeks for the stuff to arrive. So yeah, I have to figure something out. Maybe make like a pack of them, including motors, and then it's worth the international shipping costs. But I don't think so. Shipping stuff larger than a letter out of Australia costs me at least $20. So yeah, not too sure what I'm going to do with them. Sell them locally or put them in one of the boxes what I shipped to John so he can ship them from the US. But yeah, probably not worth the hassle. Just go, if you want some of them, go to GearBest and buy the FY326 motor mounts, $1.47. Blowing cigarette smoke on the package before shipping. Yeah. Some of them do that, so I put the stuff over there to air out. But yeah, my dad's the same. Cigarettes, that's kind of old school. At the last race event on Tuesday, so many people were not smoking. They always correct me when I say that, but huffing and puffing away on their vaporizers. And man, these things make huge clouds. So yeah, every second guy at the indoor event was kind of puffing away on some weird liquid. So what else do I have? Yeah, let's come to the highlights of the day. The transmitter and the new camera slash frame. So I built this contraption here. It's a 135 millimeter X-shaped cross FPV frame. Thought we'd make something new. Torstnet Smart Shapes cut this thing for me. It's his design. I didn't do anything. I just said, X would be nice. Make something new. So he came up with this thing. The frame looks like that. So somewhat similar to a dream catcher with a solid cross in between. And it's made out of relatively thick 3.3 millimeter thick compound material. Has some foam in the middle. So if you press really hard, you can compress the foam and it crackles a little bit. So yeah, I'm not too sure yet how well they're going to crash, because these carbon plates, there's one very nice looking actually top and one bottom carbon frame, carbon plate, which looks like it's just, I don't know, 0.1 of a millimeter or something. So if you actually bump those screws down, not sure if you can see this, see if I get some reflection in there. Oops, that's weird. Not very hard to see, but the screws actually dent the frame a little bit, even if you just kind of pull them hand tight. So yeah, I'm not sure yet if that's the final material choice. Torsten said he got some thicker plates, should probably make it a little bit heavier. But there's some room to grow. So this thing only weighs 6.1 gram without motor mounts. But yeah, just the thing, it feels like a cardboard coaster, very light. But yeah, you have to add another 2 gram roughly for mounts and screws. Cutting our hair in the mirror again. So yeah, I think it needs some crash testing probably, but in the first place, some more flight tests. I put this together here and it flies, but not so well. And I think that's because of the very high material, very high amount of material in the prop wash. You know, if you compare this to another 135 millimeter frame, there's a lot less surface in the prop wash. Maybe that's the reason why it flies poorly. Maybe some of the components are damaged, so I'm not sure. I put this together and it seems to work fine, just doesn't have a whole lot of punch. So we'll try to just move the whole equipment to another frame to just confirm that everything works good. But I think this still needs some work. So it's not bending. It's actually very stiff. And if you bend these two down, the other two bend up. So it really has some weird dynamic, which makes it very stiff. So yeah, pretty much, you know, take a coaster. Is that the right word for it? Like a piece of cardboard, what you get at the bar to put under your drink. Pretty much feels like that. So I was thinking about using the second one for that purpose. I thought, nah, come on, let's give it away. So yeah, I need a flight tester. I only have one of them left. And in order to confirm that it's not my wrongdoing, I need a volunteer to test fly this frame. So I don't know how I should decide who's getting it, so that's why I leave it up to you. You guys in the chat make up some sort of democratic way of who's getting it. And at the end of the day, which is approaching quickly, just going to talk about the transmitter and then I'm as good as done. You tell me who should get the frame, okay? So yeah, I'll put it right here as a reminder. So Jesse seems to be good in the run. Okay, let's talk about the controller, the transmitter. So last week, a day after the last live cast, I dropped my Tyrannus X9E, smashed on the face and pushed one of the gimbals in, which in turn broke one of the holders for one of the gimbal axes. So it's smashed. Luckily, the replacements are not very expensive. Very nice quality gimbals you get from a loft for 15 bucks. So I ordered a replacement, but in the meantime, spoiled from the nice gimbals of the X9E, I had to come up with a solution for the waiting time. So I made this thing here. It's, as you might have guessed, a Turnigy 9XR, and it's using Aurora, or maybe I should pronounce it Aurora, I don't know, high-tech Aurora 9. It's like a relatively high-end radio with some proprietary protocol again. So I'm not sure if it actually uses a module, but yeah, I didn't like that it has a massive touch screen where you are supposed to do stuff. But the gimbals are very nice. So a friend of mine has one of these radios, and yeah, I really like the quality of the gimbals. So a while ago, I thought, just in case I get bored or desperate at some stage, let's buy some of these gimbals, and if the time comes, I'll hack them into one of my radios, one of my OpenTX radios. So, Adam, you have one of these Aurora 9 radios? So, if you don't like it anymore, I'll suggest that crazy hack job, but I have to warn you, it's not easy at all. It's really a bit of a hack job, as you might guess from just looking at the face. So there's no faceplate anymore, because the faceplate interferes with the increased throw of the sticks. So if you put this switch down here, you can see the stick almost touches the switch. So that's how close they get. Yeah, a little bit longer sticks. They are third party as well, so they're not from the Aurora. When I bought the gimbals, they came without sticks. So these are extra long sticks on gimbals with a little bit more of a throw than the stock gimbals. So they don't fit that faceplate, but it rubs if you push the stick all the way to the edges. So I didn't mount the faceplate back on. And also, the gimbals do not fit into the existing mounting holes. They have a lot of mounting holes, but none of them fits, and the plastic tabs they have are actually too large to fit them into the casing at all. So I took a cutting blade Dremel and cut off all the excess plastic around the gimbals, and then I shoehorned it into place with a lot of hot glue. Surprisingly, very solid, very nice, works very good. And the second problem is the plugs are not compatible and the wire colors are completely different. But I found a video online, just search for Aurora 9XR, or actually 9X, I think it is. Yeah, someone put these gimbals into a 9X, and the color coding of the plugs is the same. Or no, actually he describes then the positive, negative, and signal colors of the Aurora 9 gimbals, and you can use that by looking at the existing gimbals to solder the wires at the right tabs of the potentiometers, which is actually quite straightforward when you know what to do. But yeah, you basically solder off all the wires from the gimbals and put new plugs on there. But the result is just way smoother gimbal action than you have with the original 9XR, and I think these even rival, if not are better than the Taranis X9D gimbals. So yeah, suddenly turns this radio into something very nice. I think I will be flying this thing outdoors, even if I repair my X9E. It probably will be my couch flyer transmitter, while this thing I'm going to use anywhere outside but on the beach, because without the faceplate there's probably a lot of sand coming in there. So, or I use some of that plastic stuff I bought, I don't know, I think on the Micromotor community forum, someone last week or so posted a link to these moldable plastic beads. Like you get a whole bag or jar full of little plastic balls, and if you heat them up in hot water, which means they melt in less than 100 degrees Celsius, you can form them and mold plastic parts of it, which get very hard if they go back to room temperature. So I think that's a much better solution to make custom plastic parts, because the plastic what I use here melts at around 230 degrees Celsius, or a little bit less, maybe 200, 180. But I'm heating it up with 270 degree hot air to get it flowy enough to fill up all these gaps. But if it would, that's close to the temperature where the actual housing melts. So that's why quite a bit of the housing is deformed, and just adds to the zombie look, I guess. But yeah, it would be much better if the plastic would melt at 100 degrees or even less. I think they say at 60 degrees Celsius it's going to melt. So that should be very easy to then seal the complete front of the face to avoid stuff getting in there and to make it look even more shoehorned. So let's go back to the chat. Cash, Alien Eye, look at my video. Can I get one of those? Says Kenny. I don't know. What you want, Kenny? The frame? I think the frame needs to go to Jesse. Ernesto is from Holland, and I don't want giveaways because I'm paying for the shipping. I'll give it to Jesse. Yeah, so this thing is cheap to ship because it will fit in a normal envelope. Okay, Jesse, yours. Yes, it was yeah, at least an hour of plastic welding. Anything else specific you do to your quads to protect them while flying at the beach? Well, sand gets into everything, so you do not want to fly geared quads on the beach, and you also do not want to fly brushless quads on the beach, because just a little grain of salt, yeah, salt as well. Salt kills it actually even quicker because it's diluted in water at the beach. But just any single grain of sand is going to kill a gear assembly because they just get stuck in the gears, and then you have additional resistance and the other gear will die. And if you get it into a brushless motor, yeah, it will not work much longer either. So that's why to fly at the beach, the only motors who survive for more than one landing are closed sealed cans, coreless motors. The only holes they still have left are at the bottom. So usually for those motors what I plan to fly at the beach, I put a dab of hot glue at the end, or if you're in a hurry, you can put some tape or sticker or even some of those motor feet, just something to seal even those tiny holes at the bottom, because yeah, just a little bit of sand in the motor and it's done. Apart from that, don't crash too hard in the sand, because then the quad will just bury completely and you won't find it again. And don't land in the water. But yeah, once your motors are sealed, the main problem I see when flying at the beach is the transmitter. So when you pick up your stuff, when you handle things, just put the transmitter on the side so that there's no sand getting into the gimbals. And what I also like to take with me when going to the beach, I have a little paintbrush in my flight case, so I can clean the stuff out there, because yeah, once you have the sand in there, you don't want to keep moving them, otherwise it's making its way in there and scratches the surface of the action parts of the gimbal. So yeah, that's what I do to fly on the beach. Apart from that, it's very good fun to fly at the beach. So yes, moldable plastic. Moldable plastic. I'm looking forward to that. Ordered it last week from an Aussie shop. Flight Test has a video Pilsner of waterproofing. A video Pilsner? What's a video Pilsner? Sounds good. I think I'll check out the video Pilsner. You mean probably just video. A video of waterproofing electronics. Yeah, I've watched that as well. That's pretty funny, where they dunk the whole ESC motor assembly in water and run it in there. But yeah, you shouldn't try that with salt water. Not necessarily because it kills stuff instantly, although it might conduct better than clean water, but yeah, because it corrodes stuff. So everything what we have here in metal corrodes, because we have that onshore wind which brings along the whole salty mist. So yeah, salt corrodes stuff quickly. Yeah, I'll check out the video pills now afterwards. When you have a mariner, you can land on the water. So yep, that's I think it for today. Jesse, I'm going to send you that frame, and then I'll get back onto packing all the other stuff. So again, it's Monday. a lot of things to ship. So just digging out some mounts and screws for you here. So yeah, we secured the source for these plastic nylon screws. So the whole new next batch of all our frames from Smart Shapes, the Carbon H and the Carbon Hex frame, they will all come with nylon screws in the future. But so far I just have a couple bags extra. So, no, not those. Where are those with the nuts? Nuts and bolts. Here. Here we go. So yeah, some people wondered why there are so many screws in the frames we ship. They come with a bag of mounts and screws, and then we put in some more screws. That's because this is the stock we already have on hand with the steel screws. But yeah, if we replace them with nylon screws, you save a lot of weight. So on a single frame, I think it saves like 4.5 grams in weight, just replacing all the screws, or the steel screws with nylon bolts. So yeah, that goes to Jesse. Let me see. Dig out your address. Oh, it's not Jesse. You're hiding behind JT. Oh, here we go. Florida. Copy. And paste it onto a label. LibreOffice. I like LibreOffice, a German open source project with a Latin name, which means freedom, I believe, or free. So it doesn't cost anything and works much better than Microsoft Office. Most compatibility issues are solved by now as well, so you can open almost all Microsoft Office documents, but yeah, who wants that? Who really wants to send Microsoft Office documents these days anymore? I think that's a plague of the past. Yeah, for online, Google Docs is good, but I like myself an offline document editor, and LibreOffice is just nice. So here we go. Does it fit? Yeah, just. So, Jesse, you want some more stickers? I got some more for you. And some, I think I have some rare sizes. See, there's large ones. But I think I have some medium ones, don't I? No, I'm not sure where they are. But yeah, I have some, it's called medium size for you as well. So that, plus I'm sure you need more cards as well. So one sticker to the back. So they send it back to me if they don't find you. Hell, stickers on my arm. So yeah, always needs custom decoration. declare them as micromotors. And yeah, customs need to know who to chase down if it explodes. And yeah, address sticker. I need to sign also that it's me who's responsible for the explosion of the content. And $2.75 stamp, which is a bargain considering that it would cost me $2 to send it to the neighbor. Within Australia, shipping is $2, and international is $2.75. I can send this everywhere in the world for $2.75. That's Aussie dollars. So in don't want to say real dollars, but in US dollars, that's like $1.50. So for $1.50, I can send stuff across the whole globe. When I figured that out, I thought, hey, cool, let's start a business. So I also need an airmail sticker. I'm not sure if that really works, but apparently these stickers are somehow UV active or something like that. It only says at the back, dangerous goods must not be posted, and if in doubt, ask at the post office. But apart from that, it doesn't really say what they're good for, but it has some instructions where to put them on the envelope. So I heard that there are machines, automatic sorting machines, that look for these stickers because they have some, maybe, I don't know, some UV stuff on there or something what machines can read. Maybe I should try a UV torch. And when they see that sticker, they assume that this declaration has been signed, which means it's not dangerous. So it says it's not explosive, not flammable, not corrosive, and not an aerosol can. And that apparently ships them around the world quicker. So yeah, I'm not sure if that actually helps, but the stickers are for free, so I stick them on. Okay. Oh, I have a lot of catch up in the chat room. You guys are going crazy. How much I hated saying that. I never feel sad on aliens, but I get it. So, Sky, hell yeah, we will talk. Oh, here someone's talking to me as well. Scott says, hey Benedict, if you get a chance, check out my PM about the chat room going well. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm a bit behind all my messages, so I have around 87 unread Facebook messages, around 30 unanswered support tickets, and around 70 or 90, between now 90 unread threads in the community forum. It's slowly but steadily getting more than I ever can digest. So, but yeah, I'm doing my best. I'll have a look at the chat room. I think chat room is a cool idea. But yeah, it just opens another can of worms, which I probably have no chance of closing again. But yeah, I mean, you guys have brought it up yourself. So no, I'm happy to to join the chat room. I think that's a really good idea to Yeah, exchange ideas, and let's see how this works. Actually, let me go on there right now. So Discord. No, hang on. Let me bring this up on the large monitor. So the link is in. Okay, where's the link? Okay, let me look at the PMs. Chat. Scott says chat. We now have a live chat. Go here, discord.gg, and some cryptic link. Discord. Unlock scripts. Allow Discord app. I like that it almost is named like the. What should everyone call you? I prefer to be called Dr. Ben, my friend. Top decking lethal ready. Go. Oh wow, that looks like a cool chat. I was expecting some crappy base standard HTML chat. Man, this looks actually really good. Awesome job, boys. Suddenly people good. I like it. I'll definitely hang out there, my friends. So Scott asks if there's a better way I can connect with you when I have forum questions. Yeah, Scott, do you have Skype? Skype's good. Apart from that, it's just the problem is I'm getting so many messages on every channel that, yeah, I can't really promise to answer them all in time. I really try to answer my support tickets with priority. So if you send a message to support@micro-motor-warehouse.com, I will always get to this, usually within 24 hours. But if I don't, the system keeps nagging me and I cut down on sleep to answer all your questions. But yeah, I prefer that to actually keep it to where it is, support for products you buy on the web shop. But yeah, if you have any trouble reaching me at any point and you want something to be checked out quickly, send me a message to that email. But yeah, much more I prefer to speak to those I speak to frequently on Skype. So Scott, you say we are already connected on Skype. Never got response. If I'm not mistaken, I print my Skype name onto my business cards, right? So put it in like that, b.benedict. I couldn't get Benedict. Someone else has it. I wasn't quick enough. So instead of putting a number at the end, I put a dot in between. It's like a domain, b.benedict. Maybe I should go and try to get the top level domain Benedict. So yeah, please, Scott, try to ping me again on Skype. It's not always on either, but if it's on, I'm usually replying to that, and then yeah, we can have a chat about all the things. I really appreciate your help on the forums. It's good that someone is there to weed out the weeds, although I haven't seen many of those. And in the first place, to just structure things a little bit and make everyone feel welcome. Good job with that. Yeah, Scott is already the forum admin. So I already gave John admin rights, but he doesn't make much use of that. He's busy managing his Facebook group with almost 3,000 members. So yeah, he has enough to do on that side. I gave Adam some admin rights as well, but if anyone else wants to volunteer, my current hosting plan gives me 5 staff members. So I think I have 1 left, and if John doesn't want to actively participate, I'll ask him to hand out his slot again as well. But yeah, definitely appreciate your guys' help on the forums. I otherwise would not be able to stay on top of all of that. But yeah, I call it a day for now. Glad you all listened. Let me have a look. What are the statistics? Can I see how many people? 18 people watching. So yeah, a small but fun club in here. I think it would be just a lot more, how can I say, uncomfortable, hectic if we would have like 1,000 people in here. So I think it's quite good as it is. But I also plan to make a few more, how can I say, more public events. So I think I said this last time already, but I have a whole bunch of alias parts here, like bearings and gears and shafts, and of course pinion gears and motors. So in all the other parts next to the motors, I used to sell them for a little bit, but it actually caused more trouble than it brought money, because yeah, the margin on these parts is slim, and yeah, there are lots of problems which are not my fault, but either people who don't assemble them properly, or um, manufacturing problems. And yeah, with like 12% margin, this just doesn't help anything. So I stopped selling them, and I will just give them away. And yeah, to make that a little bit entertaining, I thought I will do again the Darth Vader voice using my sound generator, and make people jump through some hoops to get them. So I don't know exactly what again, but something like you got to find this piece on that website and be the first to post here or do that or find here. So something what people Scott checked something. Scott sends me something on Skype, so I think you got it. So let me open up the Skype here as well. So yeah, kind of like you know, you have to convince the Dark Lord of sending you some free stuff and making something entertaining. So I got some very funny, some good, and some really weird comments on the last Dark Lord giveaway. So I think, as controversial as it is, it will it will happen again at some stage. So currently, my little Darth Vader sits on the button, which doesn't work really, but yeah, I thought it would be nice to set them both on the buttons. So they're both wireless buttons. So you hook them up to their website and then link them up to ifttt.com and channel that into the U-Lights hub. And then when you press this button, the lights go on. You know, it's the bright side. And if you press this button, it gets dark. So unfortunately, this takes a whole long time, because when you press the button, this thing wakes up, connects to the Wi-Fi, I think it's still connecting to the Wi-Fi. I don't know why it takes so long. Then it finally transmits the signal, goes green, and then after some more time, it goes off again, and that means it kind of transmitted the signal, and the lights go on. So yeah, unfortunately, this was not a accepted solution in my household. So now they just look funny. I will have another button for it. That's the downside of having Wi-Fi connected light bulbs. They're very cool and they can make 16 million colors, and you can ramp them up and down via an app, and you can create scenes, etc. And you can have them to do all sorts of stuff automatically. But there's just no single switch. You can switch them on and off with. Also comes. There's also this thing here. Not sure if this is messing up the whole video stream. Now let me have a look. Yeah, it looks very bright. So you turn this around. It's like a round lamp with a bunch of LEDs in there, I assume. And you can make it all sorts of colors as well. So I use that for taking pictures. You can set it's actually green now. It's now bright blue. Doesn't really get picked up well by the camera. But yeah, Wi-Fi connected light bulbs. It's quite cool, if it's dark in here, you can make some cool light effects. Why was it not acceptable? Because it takes too long to switch the lights on. And also they have some weird life by themselves, so they switch the lights on and off at night. And my argument was, this doesn't matter, it's LEDs. It costs like 5 cents to operate them for 24 hours. But still, I think I need to establish proper light switches to make my lighting solution acceptable for all participants in the household. And yeah, fortunately, Philips also makes a wireless button, so it connects directly to the hub and doesn't go over the internet, which I was hoping these things do. But no, they have to talk back to some server in Sweden to switch my lights on and off. Looks like a landing light. Yeah, fog machine. Fog machine is good fun too. It's also not a really accepted solution in the household, but yeah, we play with that when we are by ourselves. So, which brings me to the very last quick topic. Some of you enjoyed my son turning up in these live casts. This will not happen for quite some time, probably for the next 12 years, because since last Wednesday he goes to school. So yeah, until now he went to preschool just a couple of days per week, and now the summer holidays are over and he officially starts school, primary school. So yeah, that's very exciting for us, for him. He likes it. He wakes up every morning and says, "Can I go to school again?" But yeah, that means he doesn't come back home from his swim lesson at Monday lunchtime, but instead goes to school, comes back at 3 o'clock. So Pilsner Popper asks if I want to carry micro brushless setups. And Adam wants to know why Sweden needs to know when you turn the lights on and off. Well, Sweden apparently needs to know about this because they have a server running which takes the events of these light bulbs, not light bulbs, of these buttons, and turns it into actionable commands. So, or maybe it's just going to the, no, I think it's even going to two servers, to the button server and then to the IFTTT server, then comes back into my home network and goes to the Philips Hue hub in there, which is just way too much latency. So what it needs is who said this? Someone was talking about, yeah, Scott says has some great wireless light setup, not Wi-Fi, just RF. Yeah, that's what it needs. You know, they shouldn't talk over Wi-Fi. Well, they can talk over Wi-Fi if they talk to the apps, etc., but not over the internet. So Wi-Fi should only have like maybe, one packet has 2 milliseconds of round trip time. So, add some processing time, you should have a delay of 10 milliseconds to press a button and switch on the lights over Wi-Fi, but not if you talk to a couple of servers around the world. So, brushless setups. I'm not really sold on brushless setups myself yet. At first, they're way more complex, way more expensive, and they also end up heavier. So, you can, if you really get the right parts, get it down to 80 to 100 gram. But for most of my purposes, I just don't need more power. And that's the main advantage of brushless motors, right? You get more power out of a small build. But it also gets heavier, more dangerous, more breaking parts when you crash, more expensive, way more complex. So, I see why you want to build a micro brushless quad. I have two smaller brushless quads, and they definitely have a lot more punch than a brushed setup. But yeah, it's just way harder to maintain. And, for me, it's not just about building them and flying them, but if I start selling them, I also have to deal with the manufacturers and I have to deal with all the problems that people have if they screw it up. And there are just way, way more possibilities to screw it up. And the parts are way more expensive. So that's why I don't really see yet me carrying brushless parts. But who knows? If things are moving on, maybe. But at the same time, I think coreless motors and brushed flight controllers are sort of contemporary art. Even if they are way more powerful, way more long-lasting setups, I think these will stay cheaper and simpler. And that's why for people who just want to have a little bit of fun, get into the hobby, or just enjoy building as much as flying, 5 hours of lifetime of a motor is not really a problem. And the limited power isn't really either. So I think 8.5mm brushed setup, flying it line of sight, is very powerful and requires some very good pilot skills to stay on top of that. So you'll probably have to fly and learn and practice quite a bit to outgrow that and really make use of a brushless, like 10-to-1 power ratio brushless acro setup. And for FPV, yeah, of course, you get closer to the limit when flying FPV. But yeah, to put more power into this, you also run a lot higher risk. And I just like to throw this thing out of the window and fly around here, or go to the park and fly around there without worrying about hurting anyone or destroying my equipment. So Yeah, I'm still a fan of the little things, but if I eventually get my hands on a good source of brushless motors, and ideally flight controllers with integrated speed controllers, or at least like an adapter board which makes that easy so you don't have to solder like, what is it, 48 solder joints per quad. I think we might get somewhere, but until then, it's not really on top of my list. So not building them, and definitely not selling them at this stage. Scotty says his thermostat runs off a server via Wi-Fi. Did you hear about the firmware issues they had in the Nest thermostats, where it updated itself somehow, and that ran some service which ran the battery empty, so all the Nest thermostats stopped working in the middle of winter, and you had to take it off the wall and refresh the firmware. So yeah, I think some things rather should stay simple. With the light bulbs, yeah, I have some other lights as well, just for backup. But yeah, it's a bit weird. For example, if the power drops out and comes back on, these lights switch on automatically. Actually not a bad thing, if you think about it. So Adam says, I sound sad that Leon will not be here. Yeah, it's a little bit sad if you have a kid which lives with you for 6 years and then suddenly he's gone for most of the day. So Scott loves his brushless rigs, got two, but I spent much more time with the brushed micros. Yeah, for some reason they are more fun because you have to worry less. 2S brushed, all the brushed motors we have, they need maximum of 4 volts. Or some go up to 4.2, but yeah, this doesn't really matter because you bring the voltage down anyway to less than 4 volts if you put a normal light boost cell on the load. There won't be 2S brushed motors in that size, but what I could imagine that we use in the future some of these high voltage cells, nominal or maximum, not nominal, maximum voltage 4.35 volts. I think that could give a good extra boost to these motors. But when I asked my LiPo for that, they said they can't make the batteries in that, the high voltage batteries in that size for whatever reason. But I've recently seen some other fancy batteries coming out on Hobby King, graphene batteries. Nanotech graphene. I'm not sure if that's just another marketing plot. Some people like them. Some people complain about the weight. But no one really did some proper tests, I believe. So I'm going to put those, which I've ordered, on my discharger. I think they should arrive this week. And see what they give. So, truth in the brushed light side there is. Strong with the force is the logic. Says Yoda Scott. Living in urban Chicago, I have zero interest in brushless. 8.5 is more than I could ever need. Yeah, right, David. I think that's true. Many of us just have so limited space that yeah, it's just no point in having something more powerful than an 8.5mm coreless motor. I think that's right on the edge. So the other day I cut myself a little bit with one of the Reggie Sharks because I used one of these toy controllers and bumped the throttle so it doesn't have an arming switch. So I bumped the throttle while I was holding it. It cuts meat already quite well, but yeah, not really that dangerous. So the only real danger which comes out of a 8.5mm coreless quad is that you can fly into someone's eyes or scratch and upset them. But apart from that, I think it's pretty safe. But if you go larger, even my 80 or 90 gram brushless quad, which runs similar sized propellers, I think 60 millimeters they cut quite nicely, and with only a 3 or 4 inch prop on a brushless motor, you can easily cut your finger off if you do it right. So yeah, in order not to worry about other people, especially walking into your flight path, I feel much better flying a brushed micro quad. And the feel of speed is relative. There's two things you can do to make it feel faster and be more excited when you fly it, even though it's not. And that is, at first, you can use a wider angle camera. So if you use a 120 or even 170 degree lens, it feels a lot faster, and it's also a lot more difficult. Or alternatively, or ideally in combination, just fly through narrow passages. Find something with a lot of obstacles and fly through them, like a playground or trees or your house or your apartment, or put up some little obstacles. Makes it feel much more dense if you have things coming at you. That's the same like if you would put large obstacles on an oval and fly around there with a 250 or a 350. All in relation, you sort of get to the same result. So that's why I think brushed micros are there to stay. Yeah, it's a bit like vinyl records, right? The old stuff somehow has a vibe. Now, I'm not sure if that's true for brushed quads, Scotty, but I think what really hits home is the simplicity of initial build and repair. Yes, brushless models last longer if you don't crash them, but if you do crash them, or if you just get some dirt in there, they're done, and you need to start soldering. And it's not even that easy. There are 3 wires, and on most motors, it's a little bit tricky to figure out how to connect them, and I usually end up soldering every brushless motor twice. Once reverse, and then the other direction. So yeah, fixing it in the field is not always easy. Vale Pedro la vida. Scott Jenkins flies micro brushed only, and Jesse doesn't scare his neighbors as much. I used the Honeywell. The Honeywell, I don't know that. So let's finish off with the chat, and then I hop over to the other chat and get my shipping done. Still gonna have a birthday party to fire off later today. Leon turned 6 today. Scott Jenkins thinks it's weird as hell to hear you read that. Haha. Quad Bro RC missed a lot, but yeah, I leave the recordings up, so if you're really into this, you can watch the recording afterwards. And I think I also activated the scroll back feature, so you can actually go back in the stream while it's running. Yes, Hubsan clear props can sting like heck, especially if they're already broken off a little bit. They get quite sharp. Yeah, if you crash a micro, you can usually just pick it up and fly it again. And Quadbro asks me what I'm talking about now. I forgot what I spoke about when you posted that comment. Sorry, bro. Flying low turns up the adrenaline, definitely. Just, if it's too boring, just fly lower. Brushed FPV, exactly. Pilsner Papa likes it. Thanks for joining in. Happy birthday. I will convey, is that the right word? I will convey Pilsner Papa's happy birthday wishes. And Quad Bro reminds me of was it actually Quad Bros? Are you, I forgot the name, but are you one of these two brothers doing a better view, I think it was, YouTube channel? No, I think I just can click on your name and get to the channel, right? I think it's something different. Oh shit, you did it again. Yeah, Scott. I read the chat, that's what I do. So if you want to have me saying something funny, just type it in there. Scott says, yep, the straw bag is working. And with that last comment, I officially reached the end of the chat. And unless I have forgotten anything, actually I forgot to buy mangoes. So I ran out of mango juice. Unless I've forgotten something else. That's it. Thanks everyone for joining. Oh, this thing is actually still transmitting. I see you next time. And for those who haven't joined that other chat yet, either check back in the comment history here. There's a link to Discord app, discordapp.com, to the Micromodder channel that, I don't know, maybe Scott or someone else put up there. Whoever did this, thank you very much. It looks like a very cool chat room. I'll start hanging out there in a minute. Thanks, Adam. Appreciate the birthday wishes. Yeah, I like birthday parties. So there will be a small party today, and then on Saturday we have a birthday party with all his buddies at the karate club. So maybe there's some cool video coming out of that as well. And by the way, there will be a new martial arts movie kind of day where people beat each other up for my camera. So yeah, if you're into that, check out my Vimeo channel. Thanks everyone for joining. I don't have a outro jingle or some sort of fancy stuff, so that's why I just say see you later.